He is your fan favourite rage baiter. That's all. He knows what he's doing. He is your rage baiter. Not everybody that walks through the door will be a champion, but everybody that walks out that door will be a much better person. I don't look at it as a disadvantage when I'm in the big crowds.
Lots of people talk about trying to block out the noise.
I've done already 4 minutes. It's an Indian shop then, isn't it?
Brilliant.
Done things to test boundaries, and they've not gone so well.
First things first, we interview tomorrow's stars today, and today's future star, Bal. How are you, mate?
All good, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, all good. We are here in a gym you used to train in.
Yeah, this is called the Backstreet Dojo, but when I first started, it was called Tiatsu.
And we're actually inside of your primary school as well.
Yeah, exactly. Oriel School, primary school, just across the road from here.
Love it, proper local boy. So, I'm going to start you off with some quick fires.
Go for it.
Favourite boxers, okay? One versus the other, you've got to give me a favourite without thinking too much about it. Some of these are tricky.
Okay.
Ready?
Go.
Mayweather or Muhammad Ali?
Muhammad Ali.
Tyson or Evander Holyfield?
Which, Mike Tyson.
Oh, Alvarez or Golovkin?
Golovkin.
Oh, why?
Just something about Golovkin. He's just so raw, uncut, unedited. He is what you get with him. I love it.
Yeah, nice. Joshua or Fury, a big one after last night.
Joshua.
Did you see him chatting away?
Yeah, I saw him chatting away, but listen, my man Joshua's going to be here.
I love it. Hopefully we actually get to see it. One we did get to see, Eubank or Conor Benn?
Eubank.
Conor Benn now off to Zuffa, obviously. You'd take that deal?
For £15 million, you'd be silly not to, wouldn't you?
It's not a lot you wouldn't do for 15 million. Terence Crawford or Errol Spence Jr.?
Terence Crawford.
Nice. Garcia or Gervonta Davis? Tank?
Tank Davis.
Oh, that's a big call.
Tank Davis.
Garcia, quick on the reactions.
Yeah, but I think Tank Davis has just got that dog in him, and he'll outwork him and out-hustle him. Listen, when he gets to the later rounds, it'll be on him.
Yeah, right, okay. Pacquiao or Juan Manuel Marquez?
I've got to go with Manuel Marquez.
Yeah.
I just love him.
Short right, was it he knocked him out with?
Yes, a short yes in the third fight. That's it. Got him with a straight right hand straight through the pipe. It was
Beautiful shot, that. Hatton or Josh Taylor? Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Hatton. You just got to go with Hatton. He's one of the public, isn't he?
Yeah, fan favourite, absolute fan favourite. Ripping the body shots. Okay, Deontay Wilder or Alexander Usyk?
Yes, it's a no-brainer. Come on.
Yeah.
Anybody picks Wilder's.
He is good, isn't he? He is good. Another of my favourites, actually, Lomachenko or Devin Haney. Did you know, before you answer, I think Lomachenko's dad made him do ballroom dancing for 2 years before he'd let him box, so that's why his footwork's
Yes. So I'll pick Lomachenko over Haney.
nice. Shakur Stevenson or Teofimo Lopez?
Teofimo Lopez.
Oh, straight in there.
He's just a great entertainer. He is. Like, you want to tune in and watch it. Win, lose, or draw, you know you're going to have a fight on your hands.
Is that the type of fighter you like? Someone who's sort of entertaining above all else, or?
It's a mix, it is. As long as they have the boxing ability to back it up, then it just makes me want to watch it even more.
Yeah, it's got to be that combination, hasn't it, of skill, but ultimately you're an entertainer, I suppose.
Shakur Stevens is your die-hard core boxer, which I don't mind at all. I agree.
Yeah.
But you want a bit of charisma, you want a bit of flair in there.
Always the problem with Andre Ward. Boring to watch.
Yeah, it was, but you know what? He did do it in style though, and he did come to win as well. You know, obviously he won every fight as a professional, but he put on a more of a show. He did.
Yeah, impressive. So, we got some good ones here. Dylan White or Derek Chisora?
Yes. Oh, gotta go Derek Chisora.
Was it Chisora through the table or Dylan White? No, Chisora.
Derek Chisora, that's it, through the table at him.
Love that. Lennox Lewis or Frank Bruno?
Lennox Lewis.
Classic. Taylor or Catterall?
Taylor.
Why?
We talk about Josh Taylor, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think he's more of an exciting fighter. He is, again, they call him the Tornado for a reason. He's in there, he's got a couple of knockouts, he's fast and he's vicious and spiteful when he gets on the finishing.
Yeah, okay. Hatton or Amir Khan? We picked Hatton before.
Then I've got to go with Amir Khan. I've got to go with Amir Khan.
Katie Taylor or Natasha Jonas?
Kay Taylor.
Gotta be, hasn't it?
Yeah, she's levels above everybody else. League of her own.
I would absolutely hate to be in a fight with her.
Wouldn't want to be her husband get beaten up every night.
Tony Bellew or David Hay?
David Hay.
Yeah?
David Hay, yeah. Don't get me wrong, I love Tony Bellew, but there's something about David Hay. I love that bit of arrogance, that bit of confidence about him, that swagger that he walked around like he owned the place. I did enjoy watching that.
Yeah, it's true. It's a good shout. Where are we at? We have done Fury or Joshua, I think. Froch, oh God. Froch or?
Joe Kazaki.
Joe Calzaghe.
Yeah, it's got to be, hasn't it? It's got to be Kazaki all the way.
I like Carl Froch, though. He's constantly mouthing off, not having fights with anyone.
I know, but I loved it. He is your fan favourite rage baiter. He knows what he's doing. He is your rage baiter.
Yeah. Isn't he was calling out John Fury, wasn't he, last time I saw?
John Fury, Darren Till. He's had everybody after him, to be honest. He's looking for a very healthy payday.
Yes, well, maybe that's it, yeah. Okay, Kell Brook or Amir Khan?
Amir Khan.
I love Kell Brook, though. What happened to him? Broken eye socket.
Pardon?
Broke his eye socket.
Yeah, broken eye socket with Errol Spence, with Triple G as well.
That's right.
And it's just never really healed, has it?
No, well, he seemed to lose it a bit, didn't he? Lose the edge.
A little bit, yeah, just ever so much.
Okay. Well, we're going old school. Nigel Benn, Chris Eubank, Senior.
Senior.
Yeah, I love it.
It's got to be senior.
The swagger. You like the swagger?
I like the swagger. I like the aura. I love it when people rub people up the wrong way. I do.
Yeah, nice. Callum Smith or Billy Joe Saunders?
Callum Smith.
Yeah?
Out and out person.
I love the Billy Joe Saunders, though.
Look, oh yeah, David Lemieux out in Canada as well.
good.
Yeah, that became famous. That did.
Good meme. Right, that's your quickfires over, you'll be glad to know. But I think it does tell us something about the boxers you like. Bit of flair, bit of style. Don't know, does that say something about you?
Yeah, it's got to have a little bit of charisma. You got to be a bit entertaining. You know, you got to get the public wanting to watch you, whether that's to see you win or lose. But as long as you get the eyes on you, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that was always the thing with Mayweather, wasn't it? You tuned in to see him lose as much as see him win.
But yeah, I think more people. Yeah, exactly. More people wanted him to lose rather than the opponent to win.
Yeah. Good. Well, look, let's go away from the quickfires and go back to the beginning, because I guess for lots of professional boxers, you were quite late into the sport in some ways, albeit I guess you did karate and kickboxing first,
yes,
and then got into boxing. So tell us a bit about that story and how you ended up in a boxing gym.
So it started off karate when I was a kid first. I did that for maybe only for a couple of years, and then I went away to go play football. When I said I went away to go play football, I wasn't great at football.
Not to Juventus or...
No, nothing like that. There's no PSGs, no Fulham or Barcelona knocking scouts or nothing like that. Absolutely terrible, to be honest. 2 left feet, worst thing ever. Just played a bit of football, and then I started coming back here when I was around 15, 16, and that's when I was kickboxing. And I was just doing it, I was enjoying it, I was getting involved, I was training, having loads of fights. I wasn't really doing anything much else outside of school. So this was the life, I guess. And I just kept, I was having fights, I was winning, lost some as well. And then you could say I was getting a bit braver and a bit more confident. I go, do you know what? We'll crack at boxing then.
Okay. Why did you end up in here though? You were playing football. Did you know people who were training in here, or?
Yeah,
it was just in the room next to us, wasn't it?
Of course, yeah, that's it. Yeah. So obviously this is the same place that I did the karate when I was a kid, and then when I was going to play football, I stopped that, and then there were kids at my school who also came down this gym as well, so it was sort of like a collective bunch, want to be a part of it, be in the mix of it all, so that's what brought me back to it as well.
Nice. And then, so the transition then from kickboxing to boxing, if you're doing well at kickboxing, you're winning some fights, why move over to something else?
I think I just always love using my hands. There's always something about boxing. I guess it's you could say, the glamour about boxing. There's always, the bright lights, the pay-per-views, been able to do all the interviews, the medias, etc., stuff like that. Just something like that just pulled me to it. Yeah.
And what did you take things from karate and kickboxing into boxing, or was it kind of, I guess, they're very different sports in lots of ways?
Yeah, you could say they're different obviously on the outside, but obviously on the inside you've got the discipline, the dedication, showing up, putting in the work, being on weight. So everything, you could say the fundamentals, the foundations were all done here in this gym, and then I just took it to the boxing gym, and then just adapted my boxing skills and improved on that.
It's a great thing to learn, isn't it? And loads of kids, I mean, you work with kids, don't
Yeah.
you? But loads of kids come into these sorts of places and get a lot out of it, and they don't end up being professional fighters, but they're learning that discipline or whatever it might be. It's a massive part of it.
Oh yeah, of course. There's one thing I've said is that not everybody that walks through the door will be a champion, but everybody that walks out that door will be a much better person.
Nice.
You speak to anybody. I've never spoken to anybody who's walked out the gym and gone, God, you know what? I hate that. It's a really terrible session. I don't want to ever come back again. Listen, give them a couple of days and they go, oh, do you know what? I want to go back again, I think.
Yeah. And did you watch boxing as a kid?
Do you know what? I never watched boxing.
You know-
I'll tell you a funny story. The first ever boxing fight I watched, was when I brought the pay-per-view of David Haye versus Nikolai
Valuev. Enormous.
Yes,
guy.
the 7-foot one. Yeah, I remember calling my dad and said, oh, can we buy this a pay-per-view? Can we buy this a pay-per-view? Ended up trying to stay up, obviously fell asleep. And then I noticed there's a 24-hour replay. So the next day I'm watching it, and that was the first actual, TV fight that I watched. So I was never really a big boxing fan in that. So.
Yes. So it was more about being in with your mates, training. Did you enjoy the kind of the training, the hours in the gym, rather than necessarily under the bright lights?
Yeah, I always enjoyed training because it was always somewhere that I was actually half good at. So I was actually half decent at something. So I thought, you know what? Well, if I stick at it, I might be able to do something with this. And and then with the boxing gym where I started training, and then I had my first fight. And then after that, it was like I was just having a fight every other weekend, and it was like, well, I'm not doing anything else. I'm enjoying it. Why not? What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah. Did you not feel you were good at other things? Was this the kind of first moment you thought, oh, yeah?
Yeah, no, definitely wasn't good at other things, that's for sure. Hand on heart, definitely wasn't good at other things, that's for sure.
Definitely not football.
Definitely not football.
Was there a time when you kind of thought, you're training with lots of people, did you think, okay, I think I'm maybe at a certain level here, maybe I can make something of this? What was that kind of moment?
Well, again, there wasn't any of that kind of moment. It was, again, when I went to the boxing gym, I was just training, having a fight, and I didn't really have much in-depth knowledge of boxing or the amateur scenes whatsoever. So I was just having a fight. Coach, are you fighting again next week? All right, cool, fight again. And that was it. So of course, then you learn more about the sport as you go along, and you start talking to other people, finding out different things, and your knowledge of the sport becomes a little bit more deeper, it does.
And what sort of fights are they? Are they like leisure centres, that sort of thing? Were there crowds? How did those first few fights look?
First fight. So my first fight was actually in Chichester, it was. And then funny enough, that's where I was born.
Oh, really?
I was born in Chichester, so I had the first fight back there, which is funny enough. And that was a great crowd. That was a dinner show. I had all my family there. They ended up getting hiring a minibus, coach, and we're driving down, getting on there. And then, you know what, I got the win, and it was a great victory. And it's definitely a special fight outside the ring as well. It meant a lot.
Nice. And then does it build from there? Kind of, you start winning, you then get put on a slightly bigger show. Is that kind of how it works?
Not in the amateur scenes, really. To be honest, in the amateurs, it's the amateur clubs that put on the shows. Okay. So again, all the funding comes from the boxing club itself. So it's nothing too spectacular. It is literally, your coach does all the matchmaking. He goes, right, who's available? And then he'll go ring me and say, look, are you available to fight this Saturday? I'll be like, yeah, no problem. You rock up there. Listen, it could be at the home club itself. They've had a ring set up in there. It could be the community centre. It could be a working man's club. It can just literally, you rock up there, weigh in, show your ID card, and right, you're on bout number 9, away you go.
Love that. It must have been pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's great. There's nothing else just like it. There is, listen, nothing like boxing, and they talk about football, basketball, cricket, but boxing is just in a league of its own.
Because there's that thing, isn't it? People talk about, there's a team there to an extent. You've got a trainer, you've got sparring partners, but when the bell goes, you are in there on your own. What's that feeling like, or what was it like in those kind of earlier days where that was a kind of new experience for you.
Yeah, it was definitely daunting in the beginning. It was because, like you said, you are on your own. Like, there's only so much training and sparring, and your coach can help you. But when you're there, it can be a little bit nervous. I was definitely a lot more nervous in the beginning of my amateur career. But then once you sort of realise what's happening and how things work, you sort of get a little bit more comfortable in how things work. So, you know, as I say, experience kills illusion. So the more you do it, you see a reason why this and this happened, and then you know the formalities of it all.
Yeah. And you mentioned your family jumping into a minibus coming along to your first fight. How do your family see it? Do they love you being in boxing? Does that, how does that sit with your parents and
So
family?
my mum and dad are totally fine with it at all, you know. They've never stopped me from doing it at all, you know. My mum used to drive me to the club here, drop me off and pick me up. Dad would come to all the fights, of course. But literally the family, they love it. I've got massive support from them, you know. When I was an amateur, I boxed out in like Jersey. I had all my cousins come along, they all brought tickets, they come. And I think they probably love it more because of the piss up than actually come to see me. They probably just use me as an excuse to have a piss up, they do.
Yeah.
But it's great, listen, they travel up down the country, you know, they come down to Chichester, Birmingham, Suffolk, West London, East London, that die-hard fans they are.
Yeah, biggest supporters.
Biggest supporters.
Love it. They got all the merch?
Pardon?
Got all the merch?
Oh yeah, definitely. I made sure they wear it everywhere they do.
Love it. What do you find hard? I mean, obviously through that amateur journey, I guess there's a lot of pretty tough moments where you're in tough fights or training gets a bit much or you think maybe this isn't for me. Were there any kind of moments where you thought, well, this is really hard?
Yeah, do you know, look, because everybody wins and everybody loses, but I think I went through like a little bit of a period of a rut, you know, where things aren't really going how they should be. You know, you're not fighting how you should be fighting, you're not throwing the correct punches in the right ways, etc., stuff like that. And it does make you think like, oh, God, what's happening? Am I losing my touch? Is it gone already? Have I reached my ceiling? And you know what was really funny? That I had a fight, an amateur fight, travel, come think like me to Bognor or something, right? I've gone there, in between the fights, in the rounds, I've come back, I sit down on the stool, my coach has gone to me, right, listen, I didn't drive all this way for you to box like that. And I'm like, damn, oh, God,
Yeah.
like at that point it hit me, I was like, oh, gosh. I'm not doing great, and here I am.
It must be incredible. There's lots of moments like that, I guess, where you think, right, bite down on the gum shield, you're in a difficult fight or whatever it might be. But then the flip side, I suppose, is there are moments where, I know you got a first round knockout.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's, the feeling must be very different.
I guess, you got to have the bitter with the sweet. You can't have one without the other, and then when you have the bitter, the sweet tastes so much better. It does, even if you go through your rut and things aren't working out, and then when you do get that victory, you look back and you think, you know what, it was worth it, and I'll do it all again.
And does that change your mindset now going into fights, having had that kind of experience? And again, I know, with the work you do with kids, there must be an element of kind of teaching them what you've learned in terms of how to get yourself in the right place for those fights.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's just a lot of experience than anything, Listen, we're all going to have good periods and we're also going to have bad periods, but the most important thing is to be attached to the outcome. Okay, we know, all right, we're going to go through a bad period, but I know if I just keep staying at it, just keep working, getting through this phase, I know I'll come out on the other end. But if you stop, then you'll be stuck there.
Yeah, got to keep moving forwards. What's you've obviously you've talked before about your hearing.
Yeah.
And there seems to be like a bit of a journey with that, where as a kid there was you had some challenges, and then you decided you weren't going to wear your hearing aid, and then you kind of moved through that. Now, talk me through that. I think it's fascinating.
Yeah, so I think my earliest days of remembering was when I was around nursery, year 1, year 2, when I was going through hearing tests. At the time, I didn't really know anything different, that sort of age. And I think around like year 2, year 3, I was wearing a hearing aid. So during the primary school years, I was wearing my hearing aid. But then when I got to secondary school, I stopped wearing it there, do you know? And
Because
I don't know, do you know what I felt? I wasn't really a confident kid back then, to be honest. So then when I was wearing it and people would look and ask, like, feel like shy and be like, well, they're asking me these questions I don't even know. And I didn't really, yes, in a way, didn't like the attention. So if I take it out, no one knows, and no one will come up to me and ask any questions.
But what was that when you took it out? I mean, how bad is it? You know, were you having to then cope with not being able to hear properly?
Yeah, so I'm 60% in one ear and 40% in the other ear.
Okay.
Now, in terms of coping, I mean, you just get on with it, I guess. A lot of pardons, just nodding the head, going along with it, or just pretend like, oh, you didn't hear.
Yeah, that's like me at a dinner party. Just
Or
not
the in-laws. That's it.
yeah, exactly. But then you kind of come full circle, and now you're back. You're wearing it. Why was that? How did that come about?
I think when I was working as well, when I was working, as I did roofing, people I was working with, obviously working at heights, working at distance, of course, so I've got to be able to hear things. And I'm like, pardon. So I sort of got round to wearing it back again. And again, I guess it comes with a confidence thing. The more you wear it, the more you build confidence with it. And then now it's like, if I don't wear it, I'm like, oh, it's going to be a long day.
Really?
Yes.
That's funny. And does it change your approach to boxing in any way? Like, do you think, does it give you an advantage? Is it a disadvantage? How do you kind of see it in the kind of scope of approaching a fight?
Do you know what? I don't look at it as a disadvantage. I've got a hearing aid. It is what it is. You know, there's no point. I don't like to play the victim card or anything like that whatsoever. I just get on with it. It is what it is. What I will say is that when I'm in the big crowds, it's definitely not going to be able to hear the big crowds as much. So it does tone it down. And then what I've also learned about myself is that if I can't hear certain things, I sort of switch off. So I sort of just like, well, if I can't hear them, was I trying to listen? Well, I'll just go completely look the other way then.
Yeah.
So that way it helps me to concentrate on my opponent then.
That's quite interesting, sort of almost, because lots of people talk about trying to block out the noise. I mean, that's literally the phrase, isn't it? Trying to block out the noise.
That's why it's done already for me. It's an easier job then, isn't it?
Brilliant. Let's talk about going pro then. How did that come about? Talk me through that. Is that, you know, does someone come up to you and tap you on the shoulder and go, Bal, you're good enough?
Again, do you know what? I'll say there's no ambition to turn pro whatsoever. Listen, don't get me wrong, we all have that little dream as a kid to want to become this person, etc. And you say that I was being a boxer. So and I remember my coach coming up to me, have you ever thought about turning pro, like something? And I was like, yeah, well, why not? Let's just see what happens. Again, I wasn't doing anything with my life. I was only just working, and listen, what's the worst that can happen again?
That's kind of the mindset? It wasn't that you kind of thought, right, I want to be a world champion, I want to do this, I want to do this. It was almost circumstance. You're doing a job you're not in love with, here comes an opportunity.
Yeah, of course. But then what I've sort of realised is that as the time progressed from turning pro, I fell in love with boxing more now I have. And I'm really enjoying it, and I love I'm embracing the challenges that come along with it. It's definitely helped me become a much better person.
In what way? Talk me through that. Like, what's the difference, I guess, between amateur and pro, and how's that changed you?
So amateurs, it's just pure love, it's passion. You rock out week in, week out, you train, you have your fights, go home, and that's it. But professional boxing is a business. You know, there's a lot of other things. You've got to do the political sides of it, with like social media. Your manager has to do things, get you the right fights at the right times. So it's a lot more about timing than anything.
And does that just help you to kind of see the world in that way, that actually some of it's in your control, some of it isn't, some of it we need to kind of understand how to play the game a bit more?
Exactly that. It's, you know, getting into there I was a bit naive, thinking, oh, why isn't this happening? Or why they're not picking me? Or I should be here. And then you sort of, as you progress in the career, you sort of peel back the layers and you understand, right, this is why this is happening, that's happening.
And has that changed you outside of the ring as well?
Yes, I've become a lot more less filtered in that sense. Like I understand what's going on. I don't feel any offence to reason why things are happening. So like in boxing, like I said, like why am I not being picked and then being upset or being a bit agged by it? But now it's just like, oh, he's not picked me or this hasn't happened. All right, fine. Listen, it is what it is. It's done. Move on to the next one.
It's a great mindset to have, isn't it? And did that come? Have you always kind of worked with kids? And has that been in and around the gym, or has that become something you've done on the back of wanting to share some of the stuff you've learned? Or?
Yeah, so obviously with this gym here, that where I first started out, and obviously in the boxing gym also, like my coach always works with loads of kids in there, and obviously been a long amount of time, you see the kids progress from kids to juniors and then to adults, etc. And it was Darren who then reached with Rise and Thrive, who reached out to me and said, oh, would you mind coming down and talk to some of the kids? I went, yeah, sure, it's not a problem. So I started talking to them, just talking about my life experience, do a bit of training, and now I'm just pretty much helping out as much as I can.
Nice. What do you think Darren saw in you to invite you down?
Me being local was the key element.
Well,
now, a lot of kids will say, oh, you should look up to this person, look up to that person. Yeah, that's great, but can they really relate to that person? Mm-hmm. That's the hardest part. Where myself, I've trained here, I grew up around here, I went to school. So when I talk to these kids, I am, you could say, a product of the environment. Mm-hmm. I am someone from this area who's doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, some of the bigger names in the sport maybe seem quite far off.
Yeah, they seem great on telly, etc. and stuff like that, but can the kids really resonate?
Yeah.
Can they really gravitate towards that? Can they have a really pull and encouragement?
You must see some kids just transform in front of you as well. I mean, it must be incredibly rewarding.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially when you're down the boxing, you see some kids who start, listen, we've all got to start somewhere, but they're not so good on the pads or the bags, etc. and stuff like that. And then you watch them develop, you watch them have fights, you see them become a young man and they're doing more, then you realise, you think, oh, wow, I remember you as just a little kid with your squeaky little voice, and now you're beating up whole men.
That's not fair.
No, exactly. Well, I want to get my hands on them, I get my revenge.
Yeah. And do you relate to that? I mean, you mentioned about being maybe a little bit shy at school, and like, do you wish you had someone like that in your life at that point who was able to do that?
Oh yeah, definitely. I always say to myself, I wish I had started boxing sooner in my life. 100%, you know, like for the development I was when I started to now, imagine if I actually had that way before the years.
Yeah, yeah. And like, I guess there's a lot of your journey, which to an extent people know about, the kind of headlines, if you like, some of the points we've touched on.
Yeah.
What is there that people don't see? What, you know, is it the hard work that goes on behind the scenes? Is it something completely different? What do people kind of not see about your journey?
I'm going to say the people don't see is the actual training is a key point I want to touch on. A lot of people think, oh, you know, he gets to work out twice a day, he gets to do boxing, gets to do it. He's like, yeah, that's great. But what people don't see is what actually happens inside the training session. You know, when I'm with my coach, it's not me just hitting the pads, going the bag, etc. It is literally half the time we spend talking to each other. We are.
Really?
Spent talking, right, how does this move work? How we step in here? What punch comes off here? Then you've got to step here, move here. And a lot of it is literally we'll do one or two things and then just repeating it all the time. Wow. Repeating it. And then that's the frustrating part when you're trying to learn something and it's not coming off well. Okay, you do it on the pads as coach, now you've got to go do it on the bag. Then once you do it on the bag, now you've got to prevent it in sparring.
It must be tough. Yeah, like you say, you learn a certain combination or something, and then you're in against an opponent or a sparring partner to actually get that to work.
Of course, yes. And it's just like any other job, really, to be honest. If you're taught something, you've got to produce the goods. Yeah. If you want to progress in boxing, you have to produce the goods. You've got to show in sparring what you can do, because what you do in training and what you do in sparring will reflect on fight night. You won't get anything more than what you haven't done. And
you're fitting that in around a job. You're training twice a day. So how does that work?
So I will train first thing in the morning.
What time's first thing for you?
First thing could be anywhere between like 5, half 5.
Right.
So that'll be about an hour and a half, 2 hour training session. and then I'll get on to work, and then I'll work till maybe about 4:30 or so, and then get back, I'll try something to eat. If not, then I'll go straight to the gym and back in the evening.
It's a hell of a workload.
It is, but it's got to be done. I mean, sometimes I think the one thing about boxing is that going around on the amateur circuit and speaking to people, especially in the professional career as well, there's people out there who've got far worse, you know. Listen, I've got to work, but the good thing about that is I earn money at the same time.
Yep.
There's other people out there who don't work, but yeah, they may train twice a week, but they don't work, and all they're living off is boxing.
Yeah, it's a tough place to be, I guess. But that's, you know, it takes an incredible dedication to
Of course.
get up in the morning, go and do a full day's shift, and not an easy job either, a physical job,
Yeah.
and then get back in the gym later on. Like, there must be times where you think, this is too much.
There are times where you're driving and you just think, oh, I really can't be arsed. Sort of like, I hope there's a tyre that gets flat, I hope the engine breaks down, or I hope something happens on the road, and I could just use that as an excuse to be like, oh, do you know what, training's out the window, can't do that tonight.
Just ready for a good excuse.
Yeah, that's it. It's something like sometimes when I'm running, like, I really hate the runs and I'm running. I think, oh, I wish like a dog would just come and bite me or something like that, or like a tree would fall down, or there's a car crash, can't go help them.
Yeah.
It'll just be so I could be like, oh yeah, I can stop running now.
Are there parts of it you like more than others? Like, is the actual technical boxing stuff where you get the enjoyment rather than the running, or is it not that kind of divisive?
So I prefer the more boxing technical side, just purely on the basis of that when we're learning something, and then we're repeating it, and then when we take it to sparring, and then I'm able to execute that what we've been working on, and it's like, yes, it's working. My coach isn't just talking rubbish to me. He isn't just telling me this nonsense. I'm looking at him, like nodding my head, like yeah. I'm like, oh, what, that's telling me it does work. And you're like, oh, God. And I actually like that challenge now when we learn new things, that I want to be able to do it in sparring, and that's what keeps me going.
And are there specific things you're working on kind of now, as in, you know, maybe specific, maybe slightly more general, but looking forwards over the next 12 months, you know, where are you now? Where do you see yourself now, and kind of what are you working on?
Yeah, so at the moment we're working on things like your ring crafts, everything you do before and after the punch, etc. You know, listen, everybody can punch, it's fine, but it's what you do before and after is what makes you a great fighter. Yeah. You know, and so,
as in opening up the opportunity, setting traps, setting people up for it.
Exactly, that's it. You know, you want to be able to, let's say, for example, you want to land a left hook to the body and he's got a tight guard. Listen, you can keep throwing left hooks as many as you want, but if you just keep blocking it, you're going to wear yourself out and it's not going to have much effect. So, right, okay, we need to open up that spot. So that means by touching him downstairs to the body, bring his elbow down, and then you could finish with the left hook up top, which has maximum effect.
I love this. Yeah, show me. I'm here. Tight guard, here we go. It's not getting me with the left hook.
We're going here, it's not working. Yeah. And I'm going to come down and I'm going to go to the body here. That's it, there you go. And then bang, come up top.
I'm on the floor.
You've got to make it easy for yourself. Boxing's hard enough as it is, so don't make it any harder.
Love it. So, wait, look at the boxing scene. Let's have a look at the boxing scene in the UK. Big fight last night, obviously. Yeah. Fury against Makhmedov, is that how you pronounce his name?
Makhmedov, it is.
I don't know how to pronounce it. There we go. Anyway, interesting fight. What do you think?
Like you said, it's just, what was it, Fury's 5th retirement, isn't it? He's come back. He's basically having a little move around, dust off the cobweb. Turkey outshokes said, listen, coming back, you're going to have 2 bit pounds. Again, you're going to be silly not to, are you?
Yeah, a bit one-dimensional, his opponent, I think.
Yes, it was literally, you know, he's going to look dangerous enough, but not really actually dangerous.
Seems a bit like that at the moment. They're wheeling out, you know, Deontay Wilder against Chisora last weekend, whenever it was, and Fury this weekend, Anthony Joshua versus Fury then. Where's the new blood? Who are you looking at in the boxing scene that you're kind of really excited by?
So, let me look at this.
On the spot now, look. I don't know. Who's got Hamza Shiraz has got a fight, big fight coming up, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got the WBO. Yes, you know what? I like him. I do. I like the way he conducts himself outside. He's a real true professional. He is. Yeah. So he's got his WBO, and then obviously from that same stable, you've got Ben Whittaker as well. Again, a bit controversial as well. Some people like him, some people don't.
Yeah. I mean, there's obviously a lot of good fighters around at the moment, as there always is. But do you watch a lot of boxing now? You obviously didn't as a kid, but do you box, train, fight enough that that's kind of enough when you go home you don't want to watch it, or do you still get excited for
Yeah,
the big
no, do
fights?
you know what? I stay up to date with it. Definitely, I see what's happening, who's doing what, who's fighting who, but also like watching the old school fights as well. You know, I like a lot of studying there. You know, they've left clues there. There's a reason why they got to where they have, and they're leaving clues in their fights.
Who would you be your go-to? Who do you kind of learn off? Who do you like?
You know what? I like Gerald McLennan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about him.
Gerald McLennan, he's the one who's got the brain damage against Nigel Benn.
Okay,
in
yeah.
'95 at the O2.
yeah.
Or no, I think it's at the O2.
No, I'll hold you to it. What do you like about him? Is there something in the style or the?
Yeah, I just like the style. So he comes from the Kronk style, which is from Manuel Stewart, which a lot of people know about. Is that he was a very long, tall, rangy fighter, and he really used his leverage, and he had a great knockout he did, and some lovely body shots as well.
Yeah, because you're quite tall for a middleweight, right?
Yeah, super middleweight, so I'm 6'2", I am. So looking at his stature and the opponents he would fight are slightly shorter than him.
Yeah, so that kind of suits your style quite well.
Exactly.
Nice. Keep on the outside.
100%.
Is that the key?
There's nothing wrong with fighting on the inside every now and again.
Yeah. So for people who haven't seen you fight, how would you describe your style? Can you or?
Yeah, I would say I'm an aggressive counter puncher.
Okay.
So which is, you could say, best sort of fighter that you want to be. Someone that can be able to come forward, be in front of you, and be able to slip punches and make you pay for them.
Nice. Hit and don't get hit.
Exactly that.
What's next? What's coming up? What have you got fights in the diary?
So I'm just waiting for our manager at the moment, see what's happening in the landscape. But we're going to get the southern area this year, 100%.
Nice.
And I'm going to win that, and then we're going to move on and we'll get the English title also.
Do you look at the other fighters at that kind of level? Because obviously, I guess, boxing fans, casual fans all see the big fights, but are you kind of able to look at people in that kind of southern area level and see how they're fighting, who they're fighting?
Yeah, you sort of see the matchups, what's happening, but I don't really pay too much attention onto the fighter themselves. I see who's fighting and see who's won. But listen, anything in boxing can change, you know. So when I get a call and say, listen, we're fighting this person, I'll be all right, cool, lock in, let's go.
Because I guess from the outside, it's easy with some of the bigger fights to kind of think, okay, you've got whatever it might be, a 12-week camp, you know who you're fighting, there's loads of video footage of them, so you can kind of unpick it, start to build a strategy.
Yeah.
When you're going in with people, how much do you know about them?
I mean, you can only go by what you see on YouTube or the videos that they put up. So you can sort of, I guess, devise some sort of plan there. But the way I believe and what my coach always says is that you don't really, your boxing ability should overtake it. You know, like if you had someone like, let's have an football, for instance, if you had Chelsea versus, I don't know, give me something like Hampton and Richmond, okay? But they were playing them, do you think Chelsea are going to be like, oh, we've got to do this, we've got to do this, we watch it. You just let their football ability take over. Listen, they stay sharp, stay switched on, do what they need to do, and the fundamentals will overtake it itself.
Yeah, so you've got to be adaptable, I guess, in the moment as well.
Of course, yeah, you have to be adaptable, and you also have to make adjustments in the ring. If you're doing one thing and that's not working, right, you've got to find another route to the body, set the body up this way, or, you know, you've got to feint and move off and attack from an angle. So all these, just these little things that you have to do, small, minor adjustments.
How much do you learn about someone when you fight them?
You don't really learn a lot, to be honest. I think you learn about what they're going to do, and then you have to be aware of that. But then apart from that, you've got to concentrate on yourself, because you may look at your opponent in so many videos and think, right, he's going to do this right hand, he's going to throw this overhand right hand. And you can concentrate all camp trying to block it, trying to deflect it and get out of the way of it. But then what happens if it comes a fight night and it never shows up? Then what? And then it's just a waste of a camp then trying to work on that. So you just got to work on yourself, be the best that you can be, and then let your boxing prevail, and obviously be sharp, be switched on and alert.
And how much of that for you is like pure boxing ability? And how much is kind of fitness or ringcraft, or like where do you see the priorities in kind of building yourself as a boxer?
Well, I think boxing improves boxing. You have to work on boxing, and then when you're in training, you have to box the way that you're going to box, and that's the way you'll get fit. Now, you can't be training one way and then try and fight another way. If you're someone in the gym who doesn't go up and down the gears, then all of a sudden in the fight, you want to start having rallies with him and working with the inside side, you're just going to blow straight away. So you've got to fight the way you train. Sorry, you've got to train the way you want to fight.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. And actually, like, to your point, if you're focusing on yourself and that's your approach, they get lured into your way of fighting, your strategy, and then suddenly they're off their game.
Of course, you know, like I said, you've got to work on yourself. It's about having a good coach. It's very important. You've got to have a boxing coach who can teach you things. It's all about having a good teacher. Okay, so you know, like all these pads and mitts, etc., stuff that wasn't back then. Back in the day, like Muhammad Ali, Joe Fraser, etc., stuff like that. There wasn't many pads available, or there wasn't any pads. A lot of it was done for just teaching, standing over your fighter, saying, right, you're throwing your jab, then you're dropping it back down, bring it back up, and you're throwing your left hook to the body, you're dropping the right hand. You know, it's a lot of teaching more than anything. Like I said earlier, like me and my coach spend a lot of time talking. But we have to understand, it has to be an understanding of knowing what we're doing and why we're doing it.
Yeah. Are you a good student? Are you easy to teach? Have you always been?
I must have always been an easy student outside the ring, but now I am, 100%. Just purely on the basis because I want to learn in boxing. I want to become better. You know, so when my coach is telling me things, I'm listening, I'm working with it, and then I'm executing it and sparring. It just gives you that more confidence and also the confidence in my own ability to be able to do it. So if my coach was to tell me something, I know that if I work at it, it will pay off.
Yeah. That's the key, isn't it? I think often is in school, maybe some kids struggle because they just don't see why it's important, whereas you've come into an environment where, you know, actually learning is really important because it makes a difference to whether you're going to be punched in the head or not.
Yeah, no, to be honest, I think everyone can learn, but it's just having that interest of what they want to do, what they want to learn. You know, listen, the world doesn't need a mediocre person who's maths, someone who's okay at English. You know, listen, if we're going to need a lawyer or something, we're going to go to the best one. You're not going to call a mediocre one, are you? You're going to want the best. If you're going to go for a divorce, you want to get everything from the wife, don't you? Don't let her not get anything.
Hopefully I won't need that one, but yeah. So what your relationship, how would you describe your relationship with your trainer, with your coach? Like, what's that like? Because I guess it's easy to cast it as a kind of father-son type position. You know, you obviously trust him implicitly, but how would you describe that?
It's a very strict and firm relationship, I would say. I've definitely done things to test boundaries and they've not gone so well. You know, he's definitely put me back in my place, 100%, that's for sure. So there's definite mutual respect there between one another. Also, I would say he's a proper man's man as well, so there's not so much you could do and get away with.
Nice. What one of the moments you look back on so far where you just thought this is the best thing this is unbelievable. You know, is it, you know, as someone who doesn't fight, it's easy to imagine it's when you've just knocked someone out and you stood over them going, yes, you know, but what stands out for you?
It can stand out moment for me is when I won the London Novices. That was great. That was my first, you could sort of say, achievement in amateur boxing. That was the tournament. I won that, so the London Novices Class B, which is a great achievement.
That's massive, presumably.
Oh yeah, of course, especially when the Londons. It's always the hardest in Londons. And you know what, and a lot of it is to do with training. It's, you know, like when you've got all your mates there training with you and they're all winning as well, everyone's buzzing off each other, everybody's fighting this week, next week, and you know, it's all these great little things. Like another moment that really stands out to me, there was 4 of us that went to Exeter boxing. We got 4 wins. I dropped my opponent with a body shot. Another boy gave him some standing counts. Another boy stopped him, and then another heavyweight beat his boy and gave him like 3 standing counts. We got 4 out of 4, and we had a great time. And like, we always talk about that.
I bet, yeah. Again, boxing in some ways is such an individual sport. You know, at the end of the day, you're the one in there, but there's a massive element of that team around you and shared success, and like I say, seeing other people succeed and kind of being part of that as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. So what happens outside the ring has a massive influence on what happens inside. You need the right people around you. You've got to have the right coach who can teach and guide your career. Then you've got to have the right sparring partners as well. And just in general, your environment of people who want to win. Listen, it doesn't matter the level you're at, whether, you know, if you're a newcomer or you're intermediate or advanced or whatever it may be. But as long as you're there, you're showing up, you're training hard and you want to win, that rubs off on everybody, it does.
Oh, it's a great approach to life in general, isn't it?
Yeah, well, like they say, you're a product of your environment. If you're going to go to a club where everybody's lazy and they're not working, do you not think that's going to have the same effect on you? Whereas if it was the opposite and you see everybody working hard, you don't want to be that kid in the bag being lazy and they're looking at you and telling you to work hard. You want to be amongst it, you do.
Yeah, yeah. So where do you see this going? We're talking first things first here. You know, we're here at the point where, you know, you're going to go on to bigger and better things. There'll be a point where you stop returning our calls. Where do you see it? Where do you see yourself going? 3-5 years time? You know, where do you want to be? Where do you think you can get to?
I definitely believe that I'll be able to get to British level 100%. That's for sure. British level, I think, is now, as the confidence is growing, it's going to be the absolute minimum. What happens afterwards, of course, you know, we also want to be world champion 100%, and that's all we're all going to strive for, to be the top of the top. But definitely 100% minimum British level, and then everything that comes after it.
And what sort of timescale does that look like? So Southern Area, hopefully this year?
Yes, 100%. I mean, listen, it'd be nice to get the Southern Area and an English title this year, and listen, maybe next year get the British title. That'd be great,
Wouldn't it? And if you stood there at that point, looking back on your journey, what would you tell yourself when you were primary school, where you were taking your hearing aid out because you were embarrassed, you were shy, you felt you didn't have that confidence, and then you're in this position now? Like, how do you see that? What would you tell yourself?
I guess I just have to say, listen, don't worry. Everything's going to be all right. Everything's going to happen the way it's meant to happen.
Nice. And that's a wrap with Balraj Khara. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like, comment and subscribe, and we'll be back next time with another future star.